What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's time for the weekly rotation once again. As you can see, I'm right on the side of me. We had, and not all of them are on camera, we had an interesting week with some newer stuff to the collection. I know this isn't typically the setup. This is where I do the sneaker content on my other channel. This is where I do my live streams on this channel. Normally, we're back here on the standing desk, but circumstances, it made sense to just go ahead and grab a seat and go a little, I guess, modern, old school with the format, because I was doing this not long ago. Anyway, we're going to talk about these fragrances, some really good fresh stuff. As you can see by the lineup, some really good fresh fragrances in week number 250 in the week rotation. So stay tuned. Starting with what's out at the rack stores, check your Ross Dress for Less locations for the 2024 release Chrome Azure. So in my first impressions on this, I was like, it's kind of basic. Smells like Chrome Pure if you take the mate, that tea note out of there. Still smells like original Chrome, but when you let this one settle down, it's much more marine and creamy than it is just metallic shower gel citrus like the original. It still smells like shower gel. Don't get me wrong. It still smells like a Chrome fragrance. But it definitely gets better and better as you wear it. I have to say, I was quite impressed. I had wore it that evening. Then the following day, this particular Sunday, I wore it. And again out the shower on Sunday. I like it. I like it more than I initially liked it. Do I think it's a top 3 Chrome flanker? No. I still think the EDP, the Parfum, the Extreme, and probably Aqua are better. But I would put this over, believe it or not, the Intense, which I'm a big fan of, the original, Chrome Pure itself, Chrome United, fragrances like that. Like, it falls somewhere in middle to upper segment of the pack for the Chrome line for me. Just after a few short wearings. So, do I think it's one of the best releases of the year? No, it won't make my top 10 designer releases of the year. Definitely not. But as far as cheap fragrance pickups of the year, it's definitely going to be in that. This is really good. Above average performer. I clocked it at 7 and 8 hours on the 2 times that I did clock the performance of the 3 wearings. 7 and 8 hours before I found it to be a faint skin scent. Not too bad. Pretty damn good. $40 for 100 ml. Check your Ross Dress for Less all day long. The newest release in the Chrome line from Azzaro. This is Chrome Azure. Moving into Monday, I decided to rock this one all day long as well. I wore this one out the shower. And I had talked about this one the week prior. I had debated on wearing it over the weekend. It got pushed a few days. But we went with Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra. This is the Eau de Parfum in the signature line. This is a stellar blue aquatic. I had somebody. There's always some jokester. I always think it's a troll comment when it's so far out just ridiculous. Basically, it was like, oh, it's not a blue fragrance. What? Anyway, very aquatic, green, and that oak wood note does give it a bit of a different, slightly darker woody nuance. Not dark like ebony wood, but not your typical cedar or sandalwood type of thing either. I really, really enjoy the marine aspect of this. This is actually my favorite Tom Ford DNA. Go figure, the blue fragrance. Yes, blue fragrance. I love the Aqua flanker, the EDT, as well as the Parfum is my favorite overall. The only one of the 4 versions I don't have is the private line version of this, which this is the re-release of said version. I have smelled it before. It's the same fragrance. There's no point in me spending so much more to hunt down the discontinued version of this, what's in this bottle. So if you get an opportunity, try it. Go to Sephora, check them out. Go to Nordstrom. They have Tom Ford fragrances as well. Check it out. See if it's for you. They're pricey, mid to low 100s for a 50 ml, mid 100 to upper 100s for a 100 milliliter bottle, depending on where you find it from discounters online. But it's one of my favorite blue fragrances in my collection all day long. Tom Ford's Costa Azzurra. Moving into Tuesday, I don't even remember why I was in the mood for this one. I ended up not wearing anything out the shower, but during the day, the wife was very happy about this because she's a big fan of Sauvage. I went with Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum. I think I had just spoken about it in one of the fall fragrance topic videos that I had just did. And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's wear that. It's still great. It's spicy Sauvage long before Sauvage Elixir came around, because Sauvage Elixir really doesn't smell much like Sauvage. This smells like a more peppered, slightly sweeter take on the original EDT. We're fans of Sauvage in this household. I don't care what the rest of the world thinks. My wife's a fan of it. I like Sauvage. I always have. It just smells really good. Performs great. I did like 4 sprays, which is more than enough. This stuff's really strong on my skin. I do experience nose fatigue with it. I will go nose blind to it. I get great longevity. This one's easily in 8 to 10 hours in longevity, because my nose will come back to life a few hours later when the performance softens up a bit. Pretty good sillage, but really strong projection early on in that first hour and a half or so. Definitely worth trying. Don't let the internet detour you from these things. Now look, if you smell it all the time on people around you on a regular basis, yeah, maybe don't go for it. I didn't. There was a job that I had years ago where they had like 6 or 7 of my coworkers were wearing different variations of Sauvage, where I just wouldn't touch it because we'd all smell like the same person. So I didn't want to do that. But when I got away from that place, I don't smell Sauvage so much anymore. So I love wearing it because it smells really good. I don't care what anybody says. Try it for yourself. Be your own judge. But during the day, on Tuesday, Sauvage Eau de Parfum. Moving into Wednesday. So about midday, we decided to go ahead and head to Louisiana because Hurricane Helene, for those of you who didn't know, we just had a pretty devastating hurricane hit Florida. It went right up the Big Bend, just like the last 2 that hit Florida. We had 3 in a row that hit Florida that did the exact same thing. Granted, this was more severe than the previous 2, but turns out I didn't need to leave. We never lost power or anything like that. But just in case, it was looking like it could have drifted a little bit more west and we'd have got the bad storm surge side, to the right side of the eye and everything. So it was like, better safe than sorry. My dog's insulin needs to stay refrigerated. We can't be losing power. With that said, decided to go with something different. The most different of what I wore this week, Azure Oud from Fragrance World, their clone of Maison Crivelli's Oud Maracuja. I did a full review on this one while I was in Louisiana, and had a few people mention that no rotten fruits for them. They kept saying, no rotten fruits. I get no rotten fruits. So in the opening, when you take the astringent funk of this synthetic oud and you mix it with passion fruit, the smell that the opening creates here is somewhat of a semi-rotten fruit smell to me. Now, not everybody has to agree. I don't expect everybody to agree, but I wanted to elaborate a little further on what I mean. Do I mean it smells exactly like what a rotten piece of pineapple or a rotten pear or something? No, I don't distinctively mean just foul like that. But compared to just the fresher side of if the synthetic oud wasn't there and you still got that passion fruit note, comparatively it's a little bit more of a rotten smell, but it does ripen up quite a bit, get juicier and sweeter as it starts to settle in. It's just for a few minutes in that opening that I get that. I do enjoy the fragrance, but I do think it doesn't quite measure up to the original. If you've tried the original, yeah, it really doesn't. And they were talking about the compliments they get. Like, they really went in defense, because it's funny that, everybody wants me to not love everything. And the moment I don't love something, those that do love it get a little defensive in the comment section. So, again, I challenge everyone to find that mirror to look into when you say you want negative reviews, which it wasn't negative. I still gave it a 7.5 out of 10 overall grade. It's still pretty good fragrance. It's just when you compare it to the original, there's a pretty big gap in quality here. It's good enough. It's good fragrance. I enjoy it. I will wear it again. I'll continue to wear it, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to get a full bottle of the original is my point. It's not good enough to that extent for me, personally. But again, everybody gets tired of you being in love with certain fragrances and saying positive things until you don't have the most positive things to say about one of their favorites. Because it's, I get compliments all the time. I get no rotten fruits. I don't know what you're talking about. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. So no shade thrown that way. I just wanted to say, fun fact, it's ironic that people want you to not be so favorable all the time, and when you're not so favorable, which I've discussed in the past, it's all fun and games until I'm talking about a fragrance you love, right? And that goes for anybody else making content. It's all great and dandy if somebody craps on a fragrance until they crap on one of your favorites. And again, I didn't even really crap on it. I gave it a 7.5, very good, because it is a very good fragrance. I don't think it's a great fragrance. I think it could have been a little bit better. Fragrance World does have some better work out there. I think Liquid Brune I think it's Brun, whichever. I do think that's a great interpretation of Parfums de Marly Altair. I think that's a better clone than this is, honestly. But nonetheless, it is a really good fragrance. If you don't want to spend Maison Crivelli money, again, it is good enough. It's a close experience, especially for someone that hasn't tried the original. You won't know any different. You won't know it's not near as good. You know, again, this is my personal preference and opinion. And again, anybody that differs, you're right to it, as am I. So, all good in the hood. I think it's a very good fragrance. I just don't think it's as good as it could have been, but I did enjoy wearing it, and I will wear it again, possibly even this week upcoming. Because it does smell good, especially once you get a few minutes in and you get away from that opening that I was talking about, the just getting into the early stages of the heart into the dry down. It's actually quite lovely. It gets a lot closer to the original. Still a quality gap, but some good stuff, I gotta say. Fragrance World's Azure Oud. Moving into Thursday. So I did bring all of the Rasasi Hawas fragrances with me. I was debating on doing a video on the 3, which I still probably will do at some point this week. And I want to revisit Ice and the original. And that's what I did here. And I actually did get a few compliments. My mom and my wife, of course, both really enjoyed this. Our server at the restaurant we went to eat at that night paid me a nice compliment. Ooh, somebody smells really nice. Nice and sweet. That was me, because the ladies were wearing floral dominant fragrances. This is really good stuff. It's still really good. Sweet bubblegum aquatic with spices. Beautiful plum note. It's still phenomenal. It's still phenomenal. And I had somebody ask, my juice isn't purple like that. Do I have a fake? They've notoriously had different juice colors over the years with different batches on this one. Don't fret. I'm pretty confident yours is not fate, whomever you were that asked that. But yeah, this is a really good fragrance still. I still think Ice is... I still want to revisit Ice one more time, but I think Ice is still my favorite of the bunch. Black's great. It smells nothing like this. Ice still has some of this in it. Not for everyone, I get it, but if you give a crap about compliments, affordable fragrances that perform like monsters, you might want to get Hawas and give it a try. Moving into Friday, this was a pleasant surprise. Not so much surprise, but pleasant. I have to say pleasant indeed. Nice, cheap, affordable blue. Reminds me of Dylan Blue, but much spicier, greener and spicier overall. Boucheron Singulier. Man, this is quite good, I gotta say. Nice and woodsy. A little minty, loaded with aromatics, geranium, juniper, lavender, and I get that mintiness from geranium for sure. Nice and spiced, minty, fresh, aromatic with a bit of woods, little bit of a shower gel feel to it. Average performance around 6 hours, nothing crazy. This is I like this. I like this. This is my kind of jam, and it might not be for everybody, but this is a nice little, cheap blue gem. I gotta say, it reminds me again. I thought of Dylan Blue the first time I smelled it, and even fragrances like Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Blue. I think it's closer to something like that with the spicy greens and the shower gel smell and everything. I like these types of fragrances. They're generic, they're basic, there's a lot of redundancy out there. But I don't know, it's just something about them. It's my main taste in fragrance, is these versatile modern blues. You just wear it for anything and everything. I smell that spice coming through. It's very green. Man, good stuff. Phenomenal, no. Special, no. Really good, though. I'm really glad I picked this one up. During the day and out the shower, I wore it again that evening. Boucheron Singulier. And finally on Saturday, during the day, 2 sprays to the gym. Again after the gym. And again after my shower in the evening. I've grown to quite like this. I emptied my decant that Miss Heather sent me. That 3 ml she had sent me is long gone. Versace Eros Energy. I'm going to say it here and now. It's one of the best designer releases of the year. Yeah, it undoubtedly reminds me of Aventus Cologne. Lemon candy Aventus Cologne. Because it's like lemon heads, candied lemon at the top. The color of the bottle is fitting. The bottle is gorgeous. Because I've always liked the Medusa head bottle. But with that yellow, with this like dark copper print and cap. Oh man, this is the one. I'm glad we got a new Versace fragrance. I don't mind that it was an Eros fragrance. It doesn't smell like Eros, though, is my only gripe. I want some Eros DNA in here. Just like with Hawas Black. I wanted some Hawas DNA. Give me a twist on Hawas. Where I didn't get any of that here, but what I did get, I'm very happy with. It's heavy candy lemon citrus, tart and fruity, that similar black currant tart fruitiness of Aventus. There's your tie-in. Bit of greens. I think there's oak moss in here as well, some woods, a few other things, but that's the dominant players to this fragrance. It smells great. The wife said, ooh, it smells great in here. I just sprayed it when she came in the room. I just did my Scent of the Day Shorts video. She's like, well, it smells great in here. Would you spray? And I told her, she comes sniffing them, and she said, yeah, I like that one a lot. So, yeah, I do too. I got to say, I do too. I was indifferent, and I thought, it smells really good, but yeah, super redundant when I first got it and the initial review and everything. But the more I spend time with it, and sometimes this is the case, the more I'm digging this one. This is damn good. Unfortunately, I grabbed it from Joma Shop. I went against the grain. And it said shipped 3 to 5 days, and it only took them a week. I was impressed. Normally, if I order something from them that says ships 3 to 5 days, it's usually a month. Realistically, like 26 to 30 days. Normally. This is the first time I ever got it in a reasonable amount of time from them, so kudos to them. I'm proud of them. Keep that up. I know a lot of people have that experience. I've just never had the experience where I actually have a reasonable shipping time for a fragrance I order from them. So I did bite the bullet and grab it from them for 90 bucks or whatever. And I'm super happy with it. I'm super happy with this fragrance. It's a little redundant, sure, but it's very much everyday, versatile, high compliment factor, pure joy as the wearer to wear, with average to slightly above average, and that 6 to 8 hour range has been my experience, and longevity. Not crazy projection after about an hour, but I dig it all day long. Versace Eros Energy. Well, that was this week's rotation. I appreciate you guys for checking it out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications before you leave so you can catch these videos when we drop them. You know, whenever YouTube does feel like actually notifying people that have notifications turned on, because you never know with them. But definitely comment down below what you wore this week. I'm always curious to see what you guys have in your rotation as well. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.